Welcome to the 34% podcast, where we provide practical advice, truth, and thoughts on everything and anything for those students who want to be a part of the 34% that stay in the church after graduation.
Welcome to the 34% podcast, where we talk to students about how to stay in the church after graduation. So today, we are here with my good friend and one of my students, Noah. Noah, say hi.
Hi.
Noah!
Say your middle name.
Corbin.
Corbin.
Oh.
I like it. I didn't expect that.
I don't.
Yeah.
So, and my name is Matt. I'm with my wife, Lauren.
Hi, everybody.
So, last time we talked about the world's largest caterpillar, and this time we wanted to take on a couple different questions, but first I wanted to introduce who Noah is. So, he's a student, and we wanted to bring on our first guest ever. How does it feel to be the first guest?
Scary.
Terrifying.
I mean, that's what Lauren said in the last podcast.
True.
That it was scary.
That's true. So I have a few questions for you. Just kind of get to know you questions. Who is Noah? Who is Noah Luber? What is his existence like? Anyway, what is your favorite sound?
I have no idea. Probably music. Popcorn. Popcorn and music.
Like popcorn in the microwave?
Yeah, like being popped.
Oh.
'Cause there was like a Muppet song about popcorn. And it was like pop, 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 pop. It was great.
Okay, very
I
nice.
like that. I like that.
What is your favorite smell?
Probably a dessert of some kind. Like
I was thinking.
something amazing. Cheesecake. Wait, no, cheesecake doesn't really have a smell. Brownies.
Brownies.
Yeah, I was
okay.
going to say chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies. I would say mine is, I don't even know. I like the smell of the ocean, but not like the fishy ocean, like just like a normal ocean. Anyway, okay. If you were chased by bees, how far would you run?
Too far. Because I have like a phobia of bees.
I do too.
I have never been stung by a bee, but
It's terrible.
Then how do you know it's bad?
I don't. But, I mean, I got electrocuted by a cable, and that's probably way more painful than a bee would ever be.
Oh, definitely. A bee sting literally just feels like it's a poke by a needle,
Yeah, but
and then is sore.
but the fact that I don't know how bad it is.
Well, I'll go get
makes it
stung for
scary.
fun and show you.
No.
Have you ever been shot by a what are those called?
gun?
No, not a BB gun, but
Paintball?
a paintball gun.
I have never done any paintball ever. But
Oh, it's fun.
that would probably be more painful than a bee.
I always equated it to a bee sting. I was like, well, if you can survive a bee sting, you'll survive a paintball gun. So if you can't do that, then I don't know if you can. But all right, so what about if you could bring a household appliance with you to a desert island? What household appliance would you bring?
Microwave.
A microwave. Okay.
I wouldn't be able to use it, but I'd have a friend.
Okay.
Like, I can open the door and, like, put a coconut in it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then, like, draw a face on him. And then I can, like, every morning I can open up the door and look at him and say, hi,
Hi, Mr.
I'm
Coconut.
insane now.
Yeah, that's true. What would you draw a face on him with?
I'd probably go, like, what's the movie called? Where there's the
Castaway?
football? Yeah, Castaway. I'd probably go Castaway style and, like, blood.
Yeah, he used his blood when he got, like, I think he broke his tooth or something. Or when he
that
cut
was-
his hand.
Yeah, it was something else that was not intentional. His tooth part, that was disgusting because he had, like, an ice skate. And
He used an ice skate, the bottom of an ice skate, and like nailed it with a rock.
It was horrifying.
Have you ever seen Castaway? Oh man,
I know I need to.
Well,
I've seen part. Yeah, I've seen that part before, but
that's like the only part that everyone knows. But the rest of it, it's kind of intense. So,
It's horrifying.
do you feel like you could survive like Tom Hanks in Castaway?
No, I would probably be gone within the first 5 minutes because I'd probably like see a plane and then try to swim to it, which doesn't make any sense. But that's how I'd be cast away into the ocean.
Makes sense. Well, Lauren and I, when we were on our honeymoon, I know I asked you like multiple times. We walked by all these random wood planks, and I was like, "Well, what would you do with this? Like, if we needed to survive, or what we needed to do if we needed to like." Say we just washed up here, what would we do with this stuff? And your like immediate response was a raft. And I was like, well, I don't think like we could survive by making a raft and going into the middle of the ocean. I feel like a raft would break apart pretty easily. like in loss, that happens pretty quickly. Anyway, all right. Well, what's a random fact that no one knows about you?
I mean, I have a random fact that people used to know about me. It was in elementary school. I had a red sweatshirt. Actually, originally it was a green sweatshirt.
Okay.
And it was so valuable, and I always wore it. And then it evolved into a red sweatshirt, but it was a red sweatshirt that said Gap on it in black text.
How did it evolve? Oh, like you just got a new sweatshirt?
Yeah.
Oh.
But it was the same. It was the same thing. It was a
Like
red
material?
sweatshirt with. And every year, Gap, the company, made it better. And so it was. I have like in my closet just like 5 Gap sweatshirts, and
Just green and red?
1 green, and then like 3 reds. And every year they like improved the design, so it had a more sleek and fluffy design. And 1 year it was like really good, and then the next year it was better, and then the next year now it's green. And no, I don't. It doesn't say Gap on it. And now it just has a QR code linking to "Never Gonna Give You Up" by Rick Astley.
I don't know, is that what that's called? I thought that was called. No, I guess that. What is it called when you click on that? Rick rolled.
Rolling, yeah.
Yeah. So never mind. It is Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, Lauren, do you have a random fact about yourself?
Sure. So when I was about like 5 years old, I used to wear bathing suits all the time. And even when it was cold outside, my parents have like videos of me wearing my bathing suit, and I like wouldn't take it off. I don't know like why. I had an obsession.
You were ahead of the times when people started now wearing all their clothes that they wear now, where they're too short. You're like, no, I need to wear my bathing suit beforehand. But
Yes,
it was a one piece, I
exactly.
guess, because you were a 5-year-old. So.
Yeah, it was a one piece. I think they made me wear it in the snow, like outside, and then I never like wore them again after that.
I feel like that's like the role of a parent. Do something that is the worst to your kid to scar them, to never want them to do that again. So that's what scars are for. Anyway, cool. Well, we actually had a question that we came up with, but we know a lot of people are asking it and just curious about it. And we wanted to kind of dive into that and hear our thoughts and kind of talk through the idea of why is God allowing the virus. So the coronavirus, it's affecting us all. We know
Nate.
we have a friend whose parent was like, who had it?
Grandparent. Mm-hmm.
Grandparent. Okay. Do you know anyone else?
Yeah, I one of my mutual friends from JMU, he is a soccer player in Spain, and he's from Virginia, I believe Virginia. And anyway, he's in Spain, but he got the coronavirus. I think he's like 27.
Yeah.
But he like survived it and everything.
Yeah. So, I think that affirms it is that most people kind of know someone, whether it's someone famous or someone who's in their immediate family, or even just like that they're affected by it through some other random way. Like there's some way we've all been affected. I mean, we're all in quarantine right now. We are figuring out what to do, where the next steps are going to be. So we're all been affected by this virus. And I think the big question that people would ask is like, why is God allowing this? What's the point in this? Some people always argue that they're like, well, there's always a point. Well, there's always a reason. Is there a reason for this? Why would this happen? So that's kind of the question that we've been presented. And I'll kind of go last because I'm the youth pastor in the room. So I know I've studied kind of this question that's come up before. If you ever have wondered, it's called the problem of evil. So I've studied this a little bit, but I'm just curious to hear Lauren's thoughts. No, if you'd like to share, you can. But yeah, Lauren, why don't you go ahead and tell us what your thoughts on this question are?
Yeah, I think before you can even really answer the question, you have to go back to Genesis and where God created the world and everything was good. And so he created the heavens and the earth, and he created us in his image, and we had a choice. And so we chose sin, and we chose to not follow him. And so that opened up like this world of brokenness and the fall. And so I think that since we live in a broken and fallen world, there's sin, there's death, there's pain, there's suffering. And so since that happened, there's illnesses, there's hurt, and there's suffering that we're going through. And that is something that God is allowing, but he didn't intend for it to be that way. And so he intended things like for it to be good and perfect, but due to our fallen nature, we chose not to be perfect. And so I think that kind of like introduces this topic.
Yeah. No, I think that addresses it. Noah, do you have any thoughts or anything?
Yes. So I feel like the fact that it is now a thing has opened up more opportunities for like, now that like the churches can't have like stuff where there's like 1 billion people because then everybody would get sick. Now there's like online church. And so after the pandemic is over, that might continue, and then more people will be able to be reached, like antisocial people who like live in the basement and never go out.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Lord wants us to reach people who, we were even talking to Robin Murray about this last night in group. And if you haven't met Robin, she's awesome, and she just has such a heart of joy, and she's wonderful. So, but we were talking to her about how the Lord, I think, is calling us to reach people that we wouldn't normally talk to or normally encourage. And so I think we have like a challenge from the Lord to reach those who, like Noah was saying, that are going to hear the gospel. And I think people are more eager to learn and to see like why this is happening. And so.
No, I think that's definitely true. It is a hard question to answer. And I think that you guys both gave some good like thoughts toward it, and ones that kind of like everyone probably would hopefully come to if like they come down and think through it like that. I like that you provide a lot of scripture, Lauren, and then Noah, I liked those thoughts of how like the Lord could use it, because there's a lot of question with it. It's like, why would this happen? But this is like definitely a topic that can be answered in a like 2-hour sermon to like for 5 months. Like it could happen multiple times. So in just a few minutes, I don't think I can hit too much of it. But in just a quick, brief overview of it, I would say probably just similar to what you guys said. First of all, the note of, we are in a broken world. So it's not necessarily like, it's not God causing it. And so that's why the question is, why does God allow it? So God didn't cause it. We honestly caused it ourselves through being in a broken, sinful world. And then in being in a broken and being in sin, that now introduced this idea of, okay, well, where's all this kind of coming from? So being in sin, now there's going to be bad things that are happening. And then we also don't know all the answers, because if you look in Job, you look and you're like, why is Job suffering when he's a righteous man? He's doing good. And that book honestly answers a lot of that, of the idea, well, we don't know everything that's happening. In the book of Job, he is righteous and he's doing everything right. He's praising the Lord. He's glorifying him. Yet in the end, he is repeatedly just being persecuted in different ways, and bad things are happening to him at the beginning of the book. We see at the end that he ultimately was blessed, and he ultimately came to gain more than what he lost. But it's still just a sad state of existence, honestly, when you lose so much and you have so much pain in that. So it's a hard question. It's one that we don't always know the answer to. It sucks because I have to give the answer of like, well, I don't know why God would allow it. But I know that him allowing it is not him causing it. And so that's kind of the big turn, is that though he is in charge and he is over it all, that does not mean he's causing this evil. It does not mean he's causing different bad things to happen. He's just allowing them. And whether it is through repentance and people come to know him, or whether it is through other means of just because we're in a sinful world and bad things happen, like that could just be the case. If he was to come and always be saving us, and in the sense of like no natural disasters happen, nothing happened, then there would be no consequence of sin, and there'd be no, like, sin was introduced in the world. So if he just stopped that, then there'd be no reason that sin should have ever existed. So there's just a lot of deeper and harder questions that can be brought into this, and ones that last for multiple discussions. But I don't know if you have any other thoughts off of what I kind of said, Lorna. Anywhere else, or any final thoughts toward that?
Yeah, I wanted to share Genesis 50:20, And it says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." And I just want to encourage you all, too, that I think what the enemy intended or meant for evil, the Lord's going to use it for good and for his glory. And so we have hope in him, and that Matt was even saying, too, that we can be excited to see how God's going to use this, and that there's going to be revival, and that we're praying for that, and that people in other like countries that have been hit harder, I think we're very, very privileged and blessed here. And like, I guess, where was the biggest? Germany? No.
Italy was hit really hard at the beginning. I think we actually have it the worst at the moment, technically.
Yeah.
But in like the ways that are reporting. So.
Yeah, people were like brought to their knees, and they were praying like to the Lord. And so I think that the Lord's going to be speaking and moving and using this. And so we can be excited and have hope that he is the mighty healer and protector. Yeah. And we don't have to have fear and anxiety with this, even though I would just encourage you too to not watch the news. I don't love watching the news, and I think it can be really depressing and bring a lot more fear and anxiety. And we actually watch some good news by John Krasinski, and it's really great. One. So it's really encouraging.
Yeah, I think that's a good note too. Like, just remembering, watch what you're filling your mind with. Like, it is good to get news updates and understand what's happening sometimes, but if that's what you're constantly doing, then your mind's going to be constantly in that state of fear and panic. And I think that's what honestly brings us down a lot, is seeing all the, look at all this negativity. And that's why we love Some Good News, is that, that's what it's called, is that it provides that little glimpse of, look at this girl who just beat cancer, how beautiful of a thing. And you just see all these random things. And so that's why we like it. But I like what you said, and it made me think of the song, "I'm Going to See a Victory," or is that what it's called, by Elevation?
Yeah, See a Victory.
See a Victory. And so in that, he says, you take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for our good. And so does it mean that the coronavirus is from Satan? Not necessarily. So I would say no, but in some weird way it could be, but at the same time I don't think it is. So
the enemy wants us to be isolated too. So
he can. The enemy is going to do everything to make evil happen, but then the Lord can make all those things that were so bad and so evil to be good, and something good to come out of that. So that's what we put our hope on. So
and we're seeing people serve one another, and on the Some Good News, people are serving one another and loving each other really well and sacrificing, and just, it's really beautiful to see people come together during this time. So
Noah, you got any final thoughts?
No.
No.
Yeah, that's my name.
Cool. Well, I think that's all we got. If you guys have any more questions, we'd love to hear from you. Please comment on this video. Send an email to me. I'd love to hear if you have more discussion you'd like. You can talk to Laura and I, or even Noah if you'd like to. But feel free to email me. My email is matt@visitlegacy. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for joining us on the 34% podcast. See you guys.